The great universe. Galaxies, the sun, the earth, living beings. Did these come into existence by themselves, or did someone create them? This fundamental question has been plaguing the human mind since ancient times. And what is the answer to this question? And if you are also eager to find the answer to this question, stay with us until the end of the video. In this video, we intend to scientifically and meticulously examine whether our world, with all its components, really came into being by chance. Who created us and other living beings? Does nature have the ability to create living beings?
First, let's start with living organisms. We all know that the body of living organisms is made up of cells. A cell has a very complex structure that consists of various organelles, each of which performs specific tasks in perfect coordination with each other. A large number of chemical reactions take place in the cell so that the cell can continue to live. Now, let's see if nature can create a living organism on its own. Well, to do this, nature must first create the building block of the body of living organisms, namely a cell. The structure of the cell and the organelles inside it are mainly composed of a combination of proteins, sugars, and fatty acids.
Nature has to first make one of these components, for example, proteins. The structure of a protein is made up of smaller components called amino acids, which when joined together form the primary structure of the protein. About 20 types of amino acids are essential for the formation of proteins, each of which has a name, such as the amino acids valine, alanine, arginine, etc.
We will give an example of a protein that we are all familiar with. Yes, hemoglobin is a protein that is present in our red blood cells and is responsible for transporting oxygen to the body's cells and removing carbon dioxide. We know that a decrease in hemoglobin in the blood causes anemia.
Human hemoglobin is composed of 2 chains alpha and 2 chain beta. The alpha chain has 141 amino acids, and the beta chain has 146 amino acids, which are paired together in sequence. The order of these amino acids in each chain is very important for the structure and function of the protein, and even a simple translocation can disrupt the entire function of the protein.
For example, if the amino acid valine is replaced by glutamic acid in the beta chain of hemoglobin, the structure of hemoglobin changes and the red blood cell becomes sickle-shaped, causing severe anemia.
Now, let's see if nature can make just one beta chain with 146 amino acids without a single substitution. And what is the probability that it can do this?
By performing computer calculations, the number of possible combinations of these 146 beta chain amino acids yields a 254-digit number, which is infinitely large and uncountable. That is the number 1 with 254 zeros in front of it. And out of all these cases, only one case is true, the probability of which is 1 divided by 10 to the power of 254. The result of this fraction is infinitesimally small and practically impossible. And this is just one beta chain. Nature has to make 4 chains, which is practically impossible, let alone be able to produce a cell with such a complex structure.
Scientists are aware that nature can never create a living being. That's why they are always worried that a living being will become extinct, because if that happens, it will be gone forever. We all know that dinosaurs became extinct 65 million years ago.
65 million years is a long time.
But the question is, why nature has not been able to create even one dinosaur after millions of years of dinosaur extinction? We have seen that nature cannot even create a protein, let alone a dinosaur or any other living creature.
Just look at the designs and colors used in this peacock. You can see how they are arranged in a specific order. The complex genetic information for these designs and colors is embedded in the DNA of the bird's cell, such as how many cell divisions each feather should undergo, and what pigments each group of cells should produce, so that the desired bird's design and color scheme are created from the arrangement of the different feathers.
Now, this is just determining the color and patterns on a bird. A bird's behaviors, such as nesting, mate selection, caring for eggs and chicks, and singing, are far more complex than determining the color of a bird. The question is who put these complex genetic codes into the DNA of a bird's cell?
Let's take a look at how this universe came into being. The structure of this universe and living things is made up of atoms. Each atom is made up of an atomic nucleus that contains protons and neutrons, and electrons that orbit the atomic nucleus. Protons and neutrons are also made up of smaller particles called quarks, which are held together by the strong nuclear force. One of the mysteries of the formation of this universe is how, in the early times of this universe, primary energy was created from nothing, and then primary atomic particles, such as quarks, which led to the creation of primary atoms and ultimately matter, and at the same time, antimatter was also created. We know that the collision of matter with antimatter causes the destruction of both, but such an event did not happen at that time. Interestingly, this process has progressed in such a way that it has produced more matter than antimatter. And another question is where the dark matter and dark energy that have caused the expansion of this universe came from. Let's look at another example. This is an agate stone, and on it is a design of a mouse. Short legs, ears, arched back, tail, and eyes of the animal. As we turn the stone, there is a three-dimensional shape inside it, with one of the mouse ears removed, and the other side forming a shape resembling a humpback whale rising from the water. This stone was formed millions of years ago deep in the earth. Do you think nature could create such a beautiful design that looks exactly like an animal? Did this mouse shape come about completely by chance? When we look at these events, from the initial formation of this universe to the galaxies and stars, our sun and earth, and its living beings, we conclude that this complex structure could not have arisen spontaneously and by chance, but rather was created with careful and intelligent planning by a powerful creator. The name of this powerful creator is God. God willed to create this world and its living beings, so he created energy from nothing. Dark energy and dark matter, gravitational waves, strong and weak nuclear forces, the primary particles of the atom, and then millions of galaxies and billions of stars like the sun. And he created the unique Earth, which has a high capacity for living beings. To do this, he set the distance between the Earth and the sun so that its heat would not be too high to evaporate liquid water, nor would its cold cause the water and the Earth's surface to freeze. He created an atmosphere for the Earth to protect the planet and its living creatures from meteor showers and the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation so that living creatures would not be harmed.
Also, because of the Earth's magnetic field, living things are protected from radiation and collisions of harmful charged cosmic particles. By tilting the Earth's axis by 23 degrees, he created the seasons and also created day and night by rotating the Earth around itself. To create life, he placed abundant water in the form of liquid on Earth. To create the primary cell, God combined carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen atoms and created the components of the cell, such as proteins, sugars, etc. And from the combination of these components, he created the complex structure of the cell. He placed the complex genetic information and codes for the creation of every living being into its DNA strands. The result was the creation of thousands of living beings, including various plants and animals, and life took shape in the form we see now. Is it possible that all these complex and orderly stages could have come into being spontaneously and by chance?
Certainly not. Some may ask, did God create this world and its living beings? Who created God? What was God doing before the creation of the world, and since when did he exist? To answer these questions, we must first understand the concept of time. Let's assume that the Earth did not rotate and the sun was always in the middle of the sky and it never became night and trees did not grow and were fixed and we did not age. In the past, we did not feel time and time had no meaning for us at all. And if someone asked us, "Since when have you been here?" it would be a meaningless and ridiculous question.
We would say to that person, "What a meaningless question you asked. When does it not exist at all?" I have always been. For God, time is meaningless because he created time and space from the beginning of the Big Bang. Time is infinite for him, so it is meaningless if we ask when God existed and what he was doing before creation. Secondly, if we accept that another God created this God, then who created the second God? And we are forced to say that another God created the second God, and so on, until the end. And there must be an infinity of gods, which again must exist in the last infinity, a God who is created by someone, which becomes meaningless, and we do not arrive at an answer.
These questions originate from our minds, which have adapted to the laws of this world. Daily observations and experiences from childhood to adulthood become the queen of our minds, and as a result, they become believable. For example, in ancient times, people saw every day that the sun revolved around the earth, and it became a belief. After the scientists of that time said that the earth revolved around the sun, it was difficult for people to accept this fact at first.
Or, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, if a person can move at the speed of light, his lifespan will be infinite. Even for people of this era, it is difficult to accept this theory, but the reality is something else. Regarding the existential nature of God, the human brain, based on its observations and experiences, sends a signal that someone or a force must create a thing, and it cannot exist on its own. But like the examples mentioned, the reality is something else.
And contrary to our mental image, it is possible that a being was not created by anyone. God is the only being that was not created by anyone and is unique in the universe. But there is one thing to consider in this matter, and that is that God is very kind to us humans. Consider that God was indifferent to us humans and had only created wheat and tomatoes for us on earth and had not created animals.
And we had to eat bread and tomatoes every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And yet we survived because bread provided sugar and proteins for the body, and tomatoes provided vitamins for our body. And it was difficult for us to eat bread and tomatoes for the rest of our lives. Or God would not have been kind to us and would not have created metals on earth, so we could not have made any metal tools.
We had no electricity, no cars, no computers, no cell phones, no televisions, and we had to live like primitive humans. But we see what blessings God has bestowed upon us, all kinds of delicious fruits with pleasant colors and flavors, all kinds of delicious foods, all kinds of meat, beautiful nature, all kinds of flowers with their pleasant aromas and lush pastures, waterfalls, beautiful birds with their pleasant songs, and other animals that we enjoy seeing. All of these were created by the merciful God for us humans to live together in peace and tranquility. But what have we done to God? First, we denied his existence, and then questioned his kindness. We distorted the books that he sent to guide us humans. We destroyed nature. We spread evil thoughts and evil symbols. And with those evil thoughts, we killed each other to gain more wealth and conquer the country. We killed again. We also killed women and children. We even forced people who were once fellow countrymen to fight and kill each other. Isn't it time to give up those evil thoughts and throw them away forever?
And let's get closer to God and choose those who don't have those evil thoughts in their heads to run the country. If that happens, the earth will become a small paradise, an earth where there will be no more war. People will not kill each other for nothing. All countries will establish friendly relations with each other.
By removing environmental degradation factors, the environment will rebuild itself and return to its original state, and all people will live together in complete peace.